Okay, football fans and War Eagle Nation, here we are with the head coach of the War Eagles, Todd Mangum. Coach, appreciate you taking time as always pre-game. What we're going to talk about here, we get started, let you get your thoughts together. We're going to talk a little bit about this week in practice, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up, what we're going to look for out of the Braves. But let's go back. Last week was a big win. This week you got a lot going on. Senior night tonight, practice. Was there any problem getting your crew's feet back on the ground, or have you had a good week, or how'd that work out for you?
I mean, we've had a good week, Marshall. I hope we are. You know, coming off a big win like last week, and I talked to them about, you know, putting everything in perspective. I mean, that was last week. You know, our motto is win one game a week. And we've got a game this week against a different opponent, and that's what we've tried to do. And you know, hopefully we'll be able to come out here tonight and you know, get our feet back on the ground, because you know, after a big win like that, and that's understandable. But we hope that we don't have any kind of mental letdowns tonight.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your War Eagles. Along that vein, you know, you come in here tonight. I've been looking at the numbers on the year. We're pretty much half and half yardage, about 300 yards a game, about 150 give or take one or two on the ground, 150 give or take one or two through the air. That's about as balanced as you can get, and I guess that's what you're striving to do.
Oh yeah, you know, that's what we want to do. I mean, just anytime you can stay balanced, that's close to even as you can get, you know. That's what we want to do.
For you.
It is.
You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
So you got to be proud of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Coming in, looking at across the line of scrimmage to the Braves, we look at them, and they are a run-happy team. They got 3 guys averaging over 6 yards a carry, and one of them's got 8, one of them's got 7, one of them's got 6 yards, 6 touchdowns on the year rushing. They're bumping about 300 a game on the ground. That's pretty substantial.
Yeah. You know, South is you know, an option football team, and it all starts with the dive. You know, we got to take dive, quarterback, and pitch. And anytime that you don't, it ends up coming back to bite you. If you don't tackle a dive, fullback breaks a long one. You don't tackle a quarterback, he breaks a long one. You don't tackle a pitch man, they dish it out there. So it's an offense that makes you play responsibility, and that's what we got to do each and every play. Is make sure that we've got dive, quarterback, and pitch taken care of.
One last question, I'll let you go. I know we have some roster changes. We got typically when the 9th grade season ends, which it has, you typically bring some guys up. What's that about? Tell us about that, how that works.
Well, that's, you know, guys, and it's, you know, it's optional for them. We give them the opportunity to move up, and you know, basically what those guys get is a little bit of added practice. Their season's over. They get to have some more practice, and you know, and hopefully be involved in some games. Okay. But you know, it just gives some of those guys a chance to move up. The speed of the game changes. That's one thing that we always notice when we move those guys up. It's just like when you go from Pee Wee to junior high, from junior high to high school, from high school to college, and then on up. The higher you go, the speed of the game, and you know, we're trying to give those guys a little opportunity to see a little bit of speed of the game.
Okay, we appreciate your time. Good luck to you tonight. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with K-Dog and the Machine. So we'll see you after this word from our sponsors.
When you sit down at Pop's Seafood and Steakhouse, they bring out the homemade coleslaw, hush puppies, and the family recipe cheese sauce for dipping. Everybody already knows that Pop's has the best all-you-can-eat catfish. But have you tried the blackened or regular ribeye? Ooh, there's nothing like it. Come on Saturday, watch college football, eat lunch, or grab an appetizer. Oh yeah, and don't forget to book Pop's for your private parties.
Come join us at Pop's.
And bring your family too.
Okay, Wayne County High School War Eagle football fans, here we are for one more home game, the last regular season home game of the year. Going to be senior night here, a district game. And as Coach Mangum has told us, coming up, these district games, as we all know, are so important because of the playoff implications that they have. So it's another big night. We talked about getting the feet on the ground with Coach Mangum. It's always district games. I mean, you gotta win them. That's what your measuring stick is.
Yeah, it really is. And tonight, as best as I can figure,
if they win, they officially clinch a playoff spot tonight. I mean, for all intent and purposes, they clinched one last week, but tonight would make it official. And one of the things Todd Mangum has talked about every week is get back to the grind, go through and just, grind things out and make things happen. And tonight could be one of those trap games, but they really emphasized grind it out, take care of your business, and we'll go celebrate senior night early.
We talked to Coach Mangum a little bit about this Brave football team coming in here, and that is the South Jones Braves. 300 yards a game on the ground. He talked about the option assignment football. Is that a little different defensive approach, that's more assignment oriented, that you have to look at coming in here tonight for our defense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when somebody comes at you with a triple option and where they're running out of the veer or something like the old wishbone or whatever, it doesn't matter. You've got somebody that's got to take dive, man, a guy to take quarterback, another guy to take pitch. You let anybody fail in any of those jobs, and the potential's there for a big run, because basically defensively it slows your defensive front down some. You're not really just blowing through like somebody's running a spread or a shotgun. You've got whatever stunt called, right, left, nose, whatever. But when you're running out, when you play somebody that runs the option, your end, your linebacker, and your corner have all got to be eyeballing their guy and staying on him. So, we saw this last year with Pearl River Central. I mean, they ran a version of it in that old wing tee they were coming out of, and they can eat you up 4 yards at a time, because it's not an offense where you necessarily pick up 8 or 10 yards a carry, though on pitches a lot of times you will. But it's that inside game between the quarterback and that dive back that if they get 4 yards a carry, 3 plays, first down. So you've got to shut that down. And then in the secondary, the other thing that the option makes you do, it makes you real honest, because the play action off the option is one where if those backs and safeties get to coming up, boom, they're going to hit you with some kind of play action. So everybody's got to be on their toes when you play an option team.
The great level of intensity last week by the Wayne County defense. They didn't give up a first down in the second half, and intensity is a wonderful thing, but in assignment football, can get you in trouble sometimes, maybe, huh?
Yeah, and like Kenny said, this option attack can lull you asleep, and the next thing you know, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. I mean, and really, they do have to dial it down, because they have to contain, they have to be patient, and our defense is not geared to be that way. Our defense is geared to be aggressive and to get after it. So it is it's a very, very different mindset. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how you mix in senior night, 2 big wins over Macomb and West Jones, and now you're going to play South Jones, and things are going to slow down, okay? Because the Braves are going to take 24.5 seconds of the 25-second clock. I mean, that's going to be their game plan, and you're going to get antsy, and you're going to want to attack, and that's when the problems occur, because all of a sudden you overplay something and they hurt you.
The War Eagle offense, I was talking to Coach Mangum about it, I think within 3 yards of a perfect 150 split on 300 yards a game. So that's pretty impressive that you can come here and you can execute such a well-balanced offense as the War Eagles are doing.
And that's important for a couple of reasons. When people think of balance, they usually say, okay, well, you ran the ball as many times as you threw the ball. But that's not really what balance is, and it's not run for 150 and throw for 150. Balance is being able to do either one whenever you're ready to do either one. And your run sets up the pass. The pass opens up your run game. And so when your offense is balanced and you're doing both of those well, then that's when you have a balanced offense and balanced production. You may have 300 yards rushing and only 75 passing, but that doesn't mean that your game is not balanced. And it's like Paul was talking about, defensively we got to be real patient. And it's when you're playing a triple option, that's what you got to have. But offensively, we just need to be aggressive and do the things that have got us where we are now. And if we do that with this young quarterback, I thought Hodo did a really good job last week. Made a couple of misreads, but hey, they do that to college and pro level all the time. And he's going to be a good quarterback. Folks are going to need to be patient, because there's going to come a night when he's not going to be quite so sharp. Not because he's not a good football player, but all of us have an off time. We hope that's not tonight, You know, we hope he doesn't have an off night the rest of the year. But, you know, he's in a position now where he's, you know, the mantle's been handed to him, because we're not going to see Jarvis again before the playoffs, that's for certain. And you know, the fans have got to be patient. The coaching staff has been patient with him, and he's a sharp guy. He's picking this up quickly, and I tell you what, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch the next 2.5 years.
Well, let's hope it's a lot of fun to watch tonight as Braves from South Jones High School come over here to take on your Wayne County High School War Eagles. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the kickoff here at War Eagle Stadium after this word from our sponsors.
If you're talking barbecue in Waynesboro, you're talking Huff and Puff Smokehouse Barbecue. Smoked, seasoned barbecue. That looks good. Let Huff and Puff cater your next event. From 20 to 620, we do it all. We can deliver, we can serve. Our delicious barbecue is guaranteed to make any event a hit. Take out or dine in, it's all good at Huff and Puff Smokehouse. For faster service, call ahead.
I'm ready. Okay, halftime, Wayne County High School, South Jones here, and we're having a halftime break up here. I'm watching Kenny toss, that's not rose petals, that's empty peanut husk over his shoulder. But anyway, compliments of Ken Roberts. We appreciate that, Ken. But here we are with the halftime statistics report. First downs, Wayne County has 12 first downs. They have 135 yards rushing on 19 attempts. They're 8 out of 10 passing with no interceptions and a touchdown for 168 yards. 0 fumbles lost out of 0 put on the ground. 5 penalties for 30 yards. They haven't punted yet. They've got 103 return yards. They're 4 out of 5 on third down conversions and 1 out of 1 on fourth down conversions with time of possession of 10:23. Kenny pointed this out. He said he thought we'd have less time of possession than South Jones did, and we do. South Jones had the ball for 13 minutes and 34 seconds. South Jones has 7 first downs. They have 144 yards rushing on 24 attempts, and about 80 of those came on that muff punt snap and run down to the other one. So, but it's still 144 yards rushing. They're 1 out of 8 passing with 1 interception. They've got 19 yards through the air. They've put the ball on the ground 3 times and lost 1. They've been penalized 3 times for 20 yards. They've punted twice for an average of 37 yards, and they've got return yards of 112. They're 3 out of 6 on third down conversions and 1 out of 2 on fourth down conversions. And again, we said the time of possession was 13:34. Rushing, Greg Miller has 72 yards on 3 carries, and DJ Sims has 39 yards on 6 carries. Hodo is 8 out of 10 passing for 168 yards, and of course the touchdown there to DJ Sims. Receiving, the Jarvis Chambers big catch there, 57-yarder, and the DJ Sims had a catch for 63 yards. So those were the 2 big pass plays. One of those with a touchdown, and of course Chambers was caught down there about the 5, which ended up in a touchdown. On the defensive side, Hunter Wadley and Jamal Poe both have 5 tackles apiece. So it's interesting to look at the stats here. Of course, Wayne County, the big stat is 38-7 on the scoreboard, but the 135 rushing yards and 168 passing yards, and of course Kenny, you know, numerically you look at that and we say that's balanced, but as Kenny pointed out, and it's kind of like those I could have had a V8 things. It makes perfectly good sense. Being balanced, really simply being able to do offensively what you want to do when you want to do it, and certainly Wayne County has been able to do that tonight, and we see that on the scoreboard and statistically speaking. So there you have Paul Keane has put those numbers for us together, and we appreciate him. We're going to take a break now and be back after the halftime with the final half action here between the South Jones Braves and your Wayne County High School War Eagles. So that is halftime, statistically speaking. We'll see you after the break. I concur. Keep up the good work.
Smith's Automotive Recycling's been in Waynesboro for over 25 years, and Calvin Smith owns the only used parts store in Waynesboro. At Smith's, our warehouse is full of quality used parts from motors and transmissions to anything else you might need. Tail lights, mirrors, and there are plenty of new parts in stock. Calvin will make you a good deal, and Jasper will find you the best part in the house. Remember, Calvin is working for his grandchildren, and you too.
Okay, here we are with Coach Todd Mangum, head coach of the War Eagles, post-game. Well, Coach Mangum, to start this thing off, district game, the Braves came in here, and I mean, Wayne County just, I guess, erupted out there in the first quarter and the first half. I mean, you just got to be pleased with what you saw.
Well, offensively, I thought we came out and executed and played, well for the most part. Defensively, I didn't. I thought the effort was there, but I wish we'd have played a little bit better and done a little bit better job defensively. Some things that we were, that they were doing, we, just didn't do what we're supposed to do. But a win's a win, Marshall, and I'm proud of it. I knew we would possibly have a little bit of emotional letdown after a big win last week, but our players came through and did what they were supposed to do.
Well, that sounds like a typical football coach. I mean, they look pretty doggone good to me. We're talking about the halftime. They had like 100. South Jones had like 130 something, 140 something yards rushing, but about 80 of that came on this muffed punt.
Yeah. I tell you, we. Our guys just broke down right there. Didn't break down there on the bad snap. And, then we don't do a good job. We let him run 80 yards, and they get down there and score. But, it is what it is, and we'll correct those mistakes and come back Monday and next Friday night be a better football team.
Well, one thing we talked about too was the discipline and the assignment football it would take to stop that kind of offense, and we talked about how aggressive Wayne County typically is. And I know, it did seem that Wayne County managed to hem up some of that reckless abandon and played that assignment stuff pretty good in the first.
Yeah, we did. I mean, anytime in stopping the option, just like we talked about before the game, you got to stop, dive, quarterback, and pitch, and you got to do all three because you never know which one's going to hit you. And so we had our times where we did, and but we got to be more consistent in the option, because we're going to face the option the next 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks we're going to face option football teams.
Kenny and I, and Paul were talking before the game. We were talking about the balanced attack that you have at your offense, and Kenny pointed out, said a balanced offense necessarily can't be measured in numbers, but it's about being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Yeah.
And it looked like tonight Wayne County could do just that. It looked like we ran the ball when we wanted to and threw it. I mean, he was 8 out of 10 in the first half, so you were able to do pretty much what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. It's not necessarily run the ball 50% of the time or pass the ball 50% of the time, but be consistent when you do it, and when you pick what you want to do, and I was proud of that. Proud to be able to get a lot of these young guys in. We moved some freshmen up. We was able to get them in the ball game and everything, and so it was good offensively. I thought we played pretty solid there. Had some young guys come in there and get their first taste of varsity football, but all in all, it was a good night for us offensively.
Interesting thing to note, you got your sophomore quarterback. He had his numbers, and your 2 freshman quarterbacks. They threw 3 passes, and all 3 of them were complete.
Yeah.
You gotta like that.
Yeah, it's good. Especially the week that Jarvis got hurt, we pulled those guys out of the stands at halftime and dressed them out, and then we've had them out to practice. Since then. So they got a little taste of what high school football's like, and it's good for them. It's good to be able to get those young guys in.
2 more district games left next week. Both of them are going to be on the road. Next week we go to Brookhaven, and then the next week we go down to Stone County. And you're positioning yourself. I mean, your destiny's in your own hands now for that first round, playoff game. And when these next 2, and there you'll be.
Yeah, it's like I told the guys Monday, and I've told them all week long. Only thing we can do these next 3 games and now these next 2 games is hurt ourselves. We got to go out there and do the things that we're supposed to do and play at a higher level, each and every week, because we don't want to have a hiccup. We don't want to be the upset special. And I use the analogy of West Virginia going to Texas Tech last week and losing a big game. And I told them we don't want to be this week's West Virginia. We want to be a team that people talk about winning. We don't want to be the headlines of the team that got upset.
There you go. Well, Coach, we appreciate it. Congratulations on yet another victory. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back to wrap this thing up with Paul and Kenny. So we're going to hear from some of our sponsors and be back with a wrap-up of this week's edition of Wayne County High School War Eagle football. See you after the break.
If you're talking barbecue in Waynesboro, you're talking Huff and Puff Smokehouse Barbecue. Smoked, seasoned barbecue. That looks good. Let Huff and Puff cater your next event. From 20 to 620, we do it all. We can deliver, we can serve. Our delicious barbecue is guaranteed to make any event a hit. Take out or dine in, it's all good at Huff and Puff Smokehouse. For faster service, call ahead.
Okay, here we go. Wrapping it up. We got K-Dog and the machine over here. Paul, what a night. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of names, a lot of numbers. Yeah. What you got for us?
Well, 9 different people ran the ball. 9 different people carried the ball or caught passes. And I believe 7 different people scored on the night. So not a bad night. But real quick, for Wayne County, 19 first downs, 256 rushing, 226 passing. They were 12 of 14 passing, no turnovers, 1 punt, 7 of 10 on third down. Time of possession, first time this year, 24 minutes, 5 seconds. First time that they've had the ball more than the other team. Jalen Miller, 83 yards. Greg Miller, 72. David Hodo, 9 of 11 passing for 192. Deion Smith, 2 of 2 passing for 25. DeJarvis Chambers, 60 yards receiving. DJ Sims, 1 catch for 63. For South Jones, 13 first downs, 251 rushing, 50 passing. Lost 2 fumbles, 3 punts, 3 of 9 on third down, 2 of 5 on fourth down. Individually, defensively, Keyshawn Cooley 7 tackles, Hunter Wadley and Jamal Poe with 6 each, Quentin Hogan and Benito Jones with 5 each, Benito Jones with a recovered fumble, Treston Cochran with a recovered fumble.
A lot of names, a lot of numbers. We saw it unfolding up there, Kenny. We're not going to beat this dead horse too bad, or this dead brave too bad. But what's your reflections on what you saw?
I think really what we saw was consistency on both sides of the football. In the first half with our starters, we got out to a 28 to nothing lead early, and we did the things. We executed well on offense. No big boneheaded mistakes, and with a sophomore quarterback, that's big. He did the things that he needed to do as a quarterback tonight in the first half. Then, we opened up the second half after we got the ball back, got some more points, and get out here and get a field goal or whatever. But, the big thing here, though, was I think Coach Mangum mentioned it, and it's so true. We moved up a pretty good group of ninth graders, and you mix those with the sophomores that we got, some of whom have been playing already, and you add into the mix a really good group of ninth graders, and they get playing time out here on Friday, not just 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I mean, they got quality playing time tonight, and so you're again, that depth just continues to build, and I tell you, it is exciting and it is encouraging to see that we've got such a group coming, because we're getting back to that level now, being able to maintain. We've had a few years here where we've been, for us down, 7-8 win seasons, and that's down for us. So we're starting to see that talent levels coming back, and I tell you, I was really, really impressed with how well those freshmen played, both the defensive guys, but the offensive guys, the quarterbacks showed some promise, and the running backs, man, they ran hard. So, and the sophomore guys, so, when Paul talks about, 9 different folks running the football, 9 different folks catching the football, and, that's big. I mean, even if you've got a lead like this in a game like this, that's big to get that many kids in. And I tell you what, future sure looks good.
One of those freshmen, talk about getting minutes. He had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery, so getting a lot of time. Paul, we step up next week and go over to Brookhaven, and good grief, it's you never know what you're going to get. It's always going to be a struggle in Brookhaven.
We go to Brookhaven 5 days before Halloween and play in a stadium that is located right next to a cemetery. Weird stuff is going to happen next week. We just hope that more weird stuff happens to them than to us. We've lost some. We've won some big ones over there and lost some big ones over there, and it's going to be a big game for us in Brookhaven next week.
Well, it's like Krypton, and we're all from Krypton, and I mean, anybody that goes in there, that place just sucks the life out of you. I mean, I don't know what it is about that stadium. There's so much history there, so much great football's been played down there, and we've seen over the years, we went over there and played well and won some ball games, more than we've won at West. But it's a tough place to play in. You think back, we're up 21-7 over Brookhaven several years ago, and we were Jimmy John'd, and just things that happen, and it's just sort of like you look around and wonder, who put the hex on you. But it's going to be a good ball game. I think our guys are maintaining a level. We didn't see a big letdown tonight. I thought that was big. And if we can maintain that level and get to Brookhaven, we're going to need all that we can get, because we're not just going to have to beat Brookhaven. We've got to beat that field over there, man.
And I want to encourage everybody, we all do, to come out next week and make the trek. It's a long trek, but it'll be worth it, because you're going to see some really exciting high school football over there. And the War Eagles are flying high right now, and they deserve your support and need your support. Going over there, like I said, it's going to be a tough place to play. So make the trek over there next Friday night to watch your Wayne County High School War Eagles take on those old Panthers at Old Brook over there next Friday night. So for Paul Keane and Kenny Odom, I'm Marshall Wood. Again, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Ken Roberts, and we want to thank Rebecca for the work they're doing and making these presentations possible, and again for the administration and for Coach Mangum for allowing us all to be a part of it. So be sure to join us next week in Brookhaven for more Wayne County High School War Eagle football. See you there.